Welcome everyone towards my new stream here on the channel, and on today's stream we will talk about the US inflation data. This is going to be a super important day. Today will be extremely volatile because yes, the US inflation data that is going to come out today will massively influence where the FOMC meeting is going to lean towards tomorrow. Whether they're going to be more dovish, whether they're going to be more hawkish. We will know it all by the effects of today's inflation data. So guys, make sure to pay attention towards this stream. In exactly 29 minutes from now on, we will have the US CPI data come out. I will discuss all the charts we need to discuss. I will discuss my predictions on the data. I will give a huge update on my trade because Bitcoin is bouncing towards the upside right now here, while we still have got this small CME gap trading above us I've been talking about for quite a while right now. So make sure to stay into the stream at least for the coming 30 minutes, because then you will know where the inflation is going to come in at, and you will also know what kind of effects it will have on the price action. So without any further ado, let me kick off the stream. We talk about some charts, and then in approximately 8 to 10 minutes from now on, I'm going to discuss my predictions on the inflation, how we should be reacting towards it, and how we could be trading it. So let me first of all kick off with some basic charts here. Of course, we created a CME gap over the course of last weekend because Bitcoin took a big hit towards the downside, and while we were dumping towards the downside, I decided to be opening up a big long position on Bitcoin. Like you can currently see, I'm currently long with $140,000 on Bitcoin. It's a 5x leverage trade here, so it's, definitely low leverage and also low risk. And what I'm planning to do here is to add more margin as time continues, and add more margin especially if Bitcoin goes lower. So that is very important to take in account. I will give a more bigger update on my trade later today's live stream. So let me first jump in towards some more charts. So you can see the Bitcoin price action created CME gap, and literally 98% of all CME gaps Bitcoin has ever created, I think it was 98.6%, I calculated it, are always getting filled. So 98.6% of all Bitcoin CME gaps get filled up. So why wouldn't this one get filled up as well? It's literally a small risk to expect that Bitcoin is actually going to pump towards the upside to at least 26.5k. So yeah, Bitcoin is currently trading below it, so let's see if we could go back towards that level. Personally, I would be expecting it will be happening. Furthermore, we can see that right now we are seeing this Bitcoin symmetrical triangle getting created. You can see that this pattern is basically getting created on the 1 hour time frame. You can see it getting created on the 4 hourly time frame. Basically what we're seeing, that Bitcoin is creating a new consolidation phase. And to take a very clear look, and let me remove all drawings here, just purely looking at this chart, completely lean, completely clean, we can see something very interesting playing out here, right? So we are creating this lower high structure for Bitcoin. So let me draw this real quickly for you guys out there. We're creating a lower high after lower high, after lower high, after lower high. So Bitcoin is definitely in a bearish trend. You can say whatever you want, the Bitcoin is currently on the 4 hourly time frame in a bearish trend. But we can see something important playing out right now here, and that is if we're going to be starting to look at the lows here. Because yes, Bitcoin has been forming also exponential lows here. It broke below the previous low right here, indicating it was probably going to continue the downtrend. Here, I was still bearish on Bitcoin. I was expecting a continuation, but as soon as it started to be reaching that $25,000 region, something different happened to Bitcoin. Something completely different happened to Bitcoin, and Bitcoin started to react also differently towards this level, because look at this very strong reaction right here, while we were getting all kinds of crazy lawsuits. So this level right here, the $25,000, if you're going to start zooming out, and let me find the right chart, that is this chart right here, is approaching a very gigantic level of big support, and it is bouncing right now from up this level. So Bitcoin is trading a gigantic support here, and I'm not saying that this is the bottom that we are right now creating. No, not at all, because I've said it for several times before. I expect Bitcoin can come down all the way down to $24,000, even $23,000, and that would still remain to be my buy range. So I'm expecting to see Bitcoin to maybe trade around this region, and of course, once it decides to be breaking out of this falling wedge, of this basically this downtrend right here, I expect we could start to see a bigger uptrend and a bigger momentum shift towards the upside getting created again. So that is where I will focus my attention towards right now. You can see also on the 4 hourly time frame, we are clearly trading in a 4 hourly downtrend. We're trading in a 4 hourly downtrend because we're creating lower highs and lower lows, and that is just very important to be paying attention towards right now. And I do note it as well with my trade, and there's definitely a big risk here for me taking on a long position right here, because I'm betting against the trend, because the trend is definitely bearish, but I'm opening up a long position. And to be very clear, I, myself, have been bullish on Bitcoin basically this entire bearish move right here, this entire move towards the upside, and at one place I flipped bearish, and that was literally the $30,000. The $30,000 to $31,000 was the level I flipped bearish, and since ever, I flipped bearish, and you can see everything on my channel because you can look it back on my page. I've been bearish, I've been shorting Bitcoin all the way down here. And right now, I am starting to flip bullish again, literally on the $25,000, because I've been saying and I've been calling for this retest for quite a while right now here. So this is beautiful. We're seeing the breakout, and right now also the retest, and that is definitely a very bullish thing here. And I've been saying it several times before. I will remain to be bearish, but I'm longing Bitcoin. But as soon as we do break the downtrend of this daily time frame right here for Bitcoin, I'm going to flip extremely bullish for Bitcoin. So you can see all kinds of different charts are getting printed right here, and that is also this bull flag pattern here. You can see that also at the same time we're creating a gigantic uptrend on the daily time frame for Bitcoin, and basically the question remains here, is Bitcoin going to continue the daily uptrend? Because on the daily time frame, yeah, of course we're in a small downtrend right here, but on the bigger perspective we're trading towards the upside, right? Because we're creating higher lows every single time and higher highs. So this is a bullish trend here, and the question is the momentum going to stop right here, or is it going to continue? That is the real big question that we're currently looking at, and we just don't have an answer yet so far. And I think today we could get the answer, because today is the day that the US inflation data is going to come out at, and I will be talking about it in a second from now on. Also, the super chats, I'm going to talk about XRP later, because now I've only got 23 minutes remaining to talk about Bitcoin, to talk about the classic stock market, and to talk about the US inflation data. So we're creating this gigantic cup and handle pattern. I talked about this several times before on my Twitter, on my YouTube. Everyone started to be copying me after I posted this on Twitter because it went absolutely viral. And right now, we are about to be breaking out of this gigantic pattern that Bitcoin is creating right now. So pay attention towards this, because the price target is literally 53,000 US dollars. It's a crazy price target where I'm currently looking at, and you should take this pattern very seriously. And you can see that we're creating this important downtrend, and really as soon as we do break this downtrend, I will be so bullish on Bitcoin. I will be mega bullish. Of course, I've said this several times before in my videos. If we break the downtrend, there is still one big level of resistance we need to break, and that is the $30,000 to $32,000. I'm not going to say that as soon as we break the downtrend, Bitcoin is back in the bull market. No, not at all, because still the $30,000 to $32,000 US dollars is the level to be breaking for Bitcoin. So I want you to know that right now here. So before I'm going to go further in towards any other charts here, I still got a lot of charts prepared, so make sure to stick in the stream right here. I'm going to talk about the economic forecast, because if we're going to be looking at the price action of Bitcoin right now, we can see it's already moving towards the upside, and basically if we're going to be reaching the vertical green line, it is basically the place where the US inflation data is going to come out at. So we are expecting, if we're reaching the vertical line, we're going to see absolutely big volatility across all markets. But if I'm going to look back at history, we can see once we hit the green line right here, we saw a big pump towards the upside. Here we saw a pump and a dump, and here we saw also a big pump, then a dump, and then a continuation towards the upside. So the last few times, Bitcoin has been extremely volatile ever since the CPI data came out here. But this time, it's a little bit different, because today we're going to get the CPI data, and literally within 24 hours from now on, we're going to have the FOMC meeting, what means that tomorrow again, it will be very volatile. And it means that today's data is going to massively influence what the FOMC is going to do tomorrow. Because yes, the FOMC meeting, they're going to look, of course, at, okay, where is the inflation coming in at? Is it coming in positively of bearish? And then it could, of course, affect markets significantly. So right now the consensus, and let me quickly refresh this because it changes up all the time here. So right now the consensus is that we're going to probably see a rate pause by the FOMC, by the Fed. But if the inflation comes in way hotter than expected, we could maybe still see another rate hike, and that could be very bearish for all markets. So things could still change very quickly, and that is why today is such an important day. Because maybe the inflation is going to come in even more positively, and they're going to say some different words, right? So it's going to be important to see what markets and what inflation is going to be doing today. If we're going to be looking at the forecast, last time around, in the month of April, it came in around 4.9% and projected to right now see in May, inflation is set to drop with an approximately 0.8 to 0.2% here. So the forecast is that we're going to see inflation come in around 4.1 to 4.3%. If it comes in below 4.3%, I am actually expecting we're going to see a pump if it comes in anywhere above 4.3%, it's going to be bearish for markets. But be aware, in the next month, so for June, we will probably see an even bigger drop, and probably expected to see in July, inflation is going to sit around the low 3%. That's at least the forecast right now. And if I'm looking at True Inflation, a very good dashboard that has helped me across my predictions, across all the inflation data reports here, we can see that basically if we're going to be looking from of May, so that's of course the reference where we're currently looking at, it started around 3.9% and it dropped all the way down at the end of May to 2.8%. So True Inflation is forecasting a drop by 1.1% and we are predicting a drop by 0.8%. I'm not saying we, but trading economics. So I think, yes, 0.8 to 0.7% is reasonable to drop in the inflation report. So let's see where it's going to come in at. And if it comes in any lower than this, it's going to be definitely very bullish for markets, and expect a big pump here. And why I'm saying a big pump here is because if we're looking at Bitcoin right now here, it is moving massively negatively against the classic markets. You can see the blue line right here on the left side of your screen here. That is the S&P 500. And you can see the orange line, and probably you recognize it. It's the Bitcoin price action. So Bitcoin price action has been massively losing momentum, and you can see that basically the S&P 500 has been moving up here and basically broke above critical resistance. So we can right now see some inverse correlation, and basically what we have seen in the past, once the S&P 500 tends to be moving up and Bitcoin tends to do nothing, it's basically time that we only need here, because at one point Bitcoin is going to catch up, and once Bitcoin catches up, it will move very quickly. So take this in account. This is very important to know here, because Bitcoin was of course trading around $30,000 and the S&P was sitting around 4150, and right now S&P is sitting around 4340, and Bitcoin is trading around 26.5. So 26.2 even, sorry. So there's a massive correlation loss right now between the S&P 500 and Bitcoin, and it could only possibly impact Bitcoin. And if we're looking at the NASDAQ 100, you can also see that Bitcoin is losing momentum against the NASDAQ, and always historically speaking, they tend to be moving with each other a little bit at least here. So let's see where it's going to be coming in at. But you can see if I overlay the charts, Bitcoin is losing momentum and the Nasdaq price action is only going up and up. So I think we've got some momentum behind us. I think we've got some steam left to deploy. I think we've still got some dry powder to deploy. And this could be, of course, massively positively surprise Bitcoin. And that is going to be a very positive thing. Of course, we've got all these lawsuits that are holding back the price action of Bitcoin right now. But once we do see the relief, we could see some more bullish momentum for Bitcoin. And of course, we do know Gary Gensler is maybe going to get fired, and that will be definitely a very bullish thing here, because Gary Gensler is basically what I think a bad actor for crypto, bad actor in general. He's not willing to move the industry forward, and if we can get someone who is actually want to regulate crypto and wants to move the industry forward, it would be way better, and it would be way better for the industry. And it would also be way better for Bitcoin and its price action and its price consolidation, basically. If I'm looking at the core inflation, it looks to be dropping with only 0.2%. This is still quite bearish because, yeah, if core inflation remains to be sticky, the Fed needs to have a tight policy because, yeah, if the core inflation remains to be high, the prices remain to be high as well. So that's, of course, a bearish thing here. I will be keeping my eyes wide open on this, and of course, hopefully the core inflation could be dropping a little bit more than only 0.2%, what the forecast currently is here. So I'm going to keep my eyes wide open, but like I told you, due to the fact that tomorrow the FOMC meeting is there, we're probably going to see a lot of volatility happening today. That have been said, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, because tomorrow I will also live stream the next event of the FOMC meeting. Right now, to be clear, we're only 15 minutes out here before we're going to get the data come out. Rover, timer, please. What do you mean? You want to have a timer? I can tell you, I can remind you, in 15 minutes from now on, we're going to get the data come out here. To be exact, it's 14 minutes right now even. So, yeah, just wait a little bit here. I will keep you guys up to date once the data comes out here, guys, because I am closely watching all the data, and I'm going to give everyone a brief update about what is going to go down here. So, Don't forget to subscribe, press the bell notification, because tomorrow I will be live streaming again on the FOMC meeting. Then a quick update on altcoins, because many people are talking about altcoins. We do know that Robinhood is going to delist major altcoins like Cardano, like Matic, like Solana, because yeah, of course, the SEC is seeing them as securities, and it's a big risk for all these exchanges, and that is why they are delisting it, and the users have to sell their funds. And for Cardano, it's like $200 million, Solana is like $150 million worth of capital. That is all going to go out of those coins here, what is of course quite bearish in my opinion, and that is why we can see that the Bitcoin dominance is breaking bullish actually. And let me quickly turn on my air conditioning, because it's getting quite hot in here, especially once you're doing such a live show. So that means that the Bitcoin dominance is probably going to continue towards the upside. At least that is what I am expecting, because all these altcoins looks to be screwed basically by the SEC. I've been saying this for quite a while here. The Bitcoin dominance is breaking bullish. I'm expecting 52% to be reached here. Also, in this next move towards the upside, I expect to see Bitcoin taking the lead in the move. And I expect to see the Bitcoin dominance continue, especially since we've been in such a bullish trend here. So let's see how we're going to continue this. But personally, I am expecting there's going to be a gigantic continuation towards the upside for the Bitcoin dominance. So be aware. I mean, I've done my research and I've known my strategies. I've been through 2 Bitcoin cycles right now here, and how I'm going to do this with altcoins is basically, once Bitcoin starts to be breaking closely towards the all-time high, so let's say $50,000 or $60,000, then is a good time to start to invest into altcoins, because then the risk is most certainly lower and the potential upside is way higher. So I don't think that this is a good time to be investing a lot of capital in altcoins. However, you could make a lot of money from it. I'm not saying that you can't make money from altcoins right now. I'm only saying the risk is most certainly higher. For me, I do own a ton of altcoins, but I'm only really going to step big in towards these altcoins as soon as Bitcoin is coming closer towards its all-time high here, because the risk is most certainly a little bit too high for me right now. Then quickly going in towards some more charts, because in literally 12 minutes from now, we're going to get this CPI data, guys. And after that, I'm going to also discuss some altcoins like XRP that is probably going to settle for the lawsuit in June, and that is, or July it was, and that is going to be very bullish for XRP. So yeah, if I'm talking about altcoins, I'm definitely talking about XRP, because I personally think XRP will probably do very well next bull run, and I'm going to talk about it why in a minute from now on. But we can currently see Bitcoin is right now creating this beautiful squeeze pattern. You can literally see it. Bitcoin, its price action, it's getting squeezed up here. It's getting ready. It's about to be moving big here. You can clearly see Bitcoin is squeezing up, and it's coming also closer towards this legendary trend line right here. The trend line that basically has been holding up Bitcoin for the past 164 days here, to be exact. So that is actually looking quite bullish here. You can see on the EMA ribbon, we're also finding EMA ribbon support right here. If I'm going to be looking at the, let me quickly see, the super trend indicator, you can see we're still trading in a bullish super trend. And it makes, of course, it all makes up for a good setup here. So I'm getting ready for a big move. I've talked about the cup and handle pattern right here. The question really is, when am I going to be breaking it? And like I said, I think it could be happening today due to the data that's going to come out, which will cause massive volatility, and potentially it will cause positive momentum for Bitcoin. So at the same time, we can see, if you're zooming out on a bigger perspective, probably in hindsight, it will all make sense. But right now, many people are not paying attention towards it. We're creating some classic patterns. We're creating literally classic patterns that no one is paying attention towards. And that is, of course, also the head and shoulders pattern. And I've talked about it ever since we broke above it. I've talked about it once we were trading on $31,000. And right now we can see it playing out here, because this is the moment you should be benefiting from the pattern, because right now we're seeing the retest. And like I said at the beginning of the stream here, I don't think that Bitcoin necessarily has been bottoming right now here. I think it can come down to $23,000 before potentially coming up again here. So I think that the region where we're currently trading in, so $26,000 to $23,000, is arguably a good place to be accumulating your tokens. I think it's arguably a good time to be dollar cost averaging in towards your Bitcoins. I think it's a good time to be opening up a swing trade like I'm currently doing. I am currently going to be adding way more margin, guys. I'm currently only in a $140,000 trade. I'm literally only in a 9% profit here. It's a very small profit that I'm currently making, but it's going to really give me a lot of profit as time continues, as Bitcoin goes up here over time, right? And that is at least what I'm expecting. So I will be adding more margin if Bitcoin comes down here. because I think it's a good time to be doing so. So you can see clearly right here, we're retesting the inverse head and shoulders for Bitcoin. We're retesting basically the EMA ribbon on the weekly time frame, and this is a gigantic retest that we're currently seeing here. So there's a big opportunity right here to be dollar cost averaging in towards Bitcoin, to taking your positions. I mean, this is what I've been doing. I've shorted Bitcoin all the way down from $31,000. I've sold a lot of Ethereum on $31,000, and I've been buying really recently, the past week. I've been really scooping up more Bitcoin. I've been buying more Ethereum up here, not a lot of altcoins. I've been buying a few altcoins. I've been buying XRP. I've been buying Ethereum. I've been buying Pepe. Why? Is because I personally think it's still going to be doing some very big things in the next bull run, and I'm not necessarily deploying all my capital in towards it, but I do think that I want to be accumulating some of it, because I still think that the meme coins could do very well here next cycle. So just taking a small little risk on that coin right there. But basically what we can see on the monthly time frame as well, we're right now in a very interesting stage. And if you're going to compare it towards the previous cycles on Bitcoin, we're right now in approximately, 300 days out before the next halving. And look at what happened the last times while we were approximately 300 days out before halving. So 300 days before halving, here we saw a gigantic pump here. So 300 days before halving, we saw a gigantic pump here. So in the last cycle, 300 days before halving, Bitcoin started to go down here. So there are two scenarios that what could be happening here. So right now we're in approximately 300 days out before the halving. Last time around we saw a move down here, and the first two cycles we basically saw Bitcoin go up here. What will happen? I mean, in the end of the day, no one will know. It's just historical data. It could of course all be different, because what you should be doing is only take historical data into account, but not necessarily base your complete opinion on it. But I personally think there are two scenarios. Either Bitcoin is going to be freaking boring till the halving. That's a very possible scenario. I mean, we've been seeing Bitcoin being boring for quite a while right now here for the past 90 days, basically. But personally, what I think here is that we're going to see some sideways consolidation. I think we could see some pumps. I think we could see some dumps, but I don't think that Bitcoin is going to go any higher than $35,000 to $40,000 before the next cycle. Before the next halving. I know my cup and handle pattern has got a price target of $52,000, but do I necessarily think it's going to get reached? I'm not 1000% convinced here. Will I hold my trade open for a little bit? Probably yes. So I will give more updates as time continues and as we do see maybe potential breakouts, but I don't really think that Bitcoin is going to go to $50,000 before the next halving. I just don't think it's likely. Could it be happening? Yes, but we need some catalysts from outside. So we maybe need to see Gary Gensler getting fired. We maybe need to see some more regulation. We maybe need to see, of course, the Fed pivot. There are all kinds of catalysts from outside that could maybe cause Bitcoin to go up so quickly. But from now on, we just don't know. So everything can happen, literally. And I know it's a very bad thing to say for me because I'm literally saying, yeah, everything could happen. But that is literally the truth. That's literally the truth. Of course, I've got an opinion on Bitcoin. I think it's going to go up with time. I think it's going to go up within the coming 2 to 3 years to significantly new all-time highs. But am I 100% convinced or 1000% sure what's going to happen in the coming 10 weeks? No, it's very hard to say that right now. Am I sure what's going to happen in the imminent short term? I think I can know what's going to happen in the imminent short term, but my 10-week horizon is very hard to call because it could happen all kinds of things that can change my opinion, right? So that is why as a trader, you need to be very adaptive, because I was short on Bitcoin and people maybe thought, whoa, why are you flipping bullish? Because out of nowhere, I started to flip bullish over here. And of course, I catch this beautiful trade that's currently making me more than, it's like a $3,000 profit. It's a very small profit right now. But this trade could make me millions and millions of dollars in the future. So looking to be building up this trade. Currently, like you can see, 140K in profit. We're right now 5 minutes out, guys. It's going to be important to pay attention. We're 5 minutes out before the US inflation data is going to come out. Make sure to stick in the stream right now here for at least the coming 5 minutes because we're going to see massive volatility. I'm going to keep my trade open. I'm not necessarily going to add more margin right now here. I hope Bitcoin is going to come down a little bit here. So I'm going to set up some new orders for my trade here, guys. So I'm going to set up an order here around 52. Boom. Okay, 25.2k is going to be a level where I'm going to add more margin towards my trade. I'm going to add an approximately 1.6 Bitcoin. And I'm looking to add more margin as price is going down here, right? So I'm looking to add more margin as Bitcoin comes down to 23. I'm looking to add more margin as Bitcoin comes down to 24. So that is going to be my strategy, hopefully. I mean, personally, I hope Bitcoin is going to come down because it allows me to buy cheaper Bitcoin. But yeah, we just really have to wait where the data is going to come in at. And in the end of the day, no one really knows where the data is going to come in at until it comes out here. So let me go to the 1 minute time frame here on this chart to prepare myself. So the orange line is the Bitcoin price action. The blue line is the S&P 500. We're going to compare those, how they're going to doing here. We'll be doing the S&P 500 has been moving down today here because this is the 1 minute time frame. This is basically from 8 in the morning here on the left to 2 in the afternoon right now. This is the Central European time zone. So let's see how it's going to be playing out. This is the 1 minute time frame. The Nasdaq, of course, I'm going to also compare these two towards each other for the next coming minutes. The Nasdaq has been moving up here, just like Bitcoin has. Usually the Nasdaq and Bitcoin, they move with each other. So right now we're in approximately 3 minutes out, guys, before we're going to get the data. I'm going to keep refreshing, and I'm going to prepare it, guys. I'm going to keep refreshing my charts here. To know exactly what the daily is going to be here. We're probably going to see it first on the charts because, yeah, the charts usually reply a little bit quicker. Inflation rate, guys. I'm going to sit real tight here. I'm going to prepare everything. And also another thing to prepare yourself for the next bull run is something very crazy. I mean, I've been making an old product out of my own need here while I'm preparing myself for the data to come out here, guys. Let me quickly do this. Boom, boom, boom. So I've been making a product to prepare myself for the next bull run, and that's a trading algorithm. It's CryptoC. CryptoC, I created it out of my own need, and everyone can use it. It's basically a trading algorithm that takes profit and takes in positions for you. And this is really what you need in the next bull run, literally. Because in the bull run, what my biggest struggle was in the last 2 bull runs is to know exactly when to cash out here. And what the algorithm does is literally automatically takes profit for you along the way up, and also takes in positions once Bitcoin is dumping. So it's like forecasting where the market is going to go, and it basically takes in the best positions for you. So if you're interested in making good money for the next bull run, if you're interested in taking in your position correctly for the next bull run and preparing yourself to make the most amount of money, go to cryptoc.com, read through the results. You can literally read all the results, how the algorithm performs, how it in the past have been performing. It's been live for an approximately a year right now. It has been outperforming Bitcoin by 40%. It's a proven product. You can read the reviews. You can ask the members in the community. And basically, it's a good way to prepare yourself for the next bull run. But right now, 2 minutes out, guys, 2 more minutes before the inflation data is going to come out. So I'm going to prepare this right now here. Bitcoin's still trading quite steadily. I mean, you can see it's creeping up here recently, but so far we're still waiting for the actual big move to happen and hit the market. Don't forget to slap up that like button, guys, because in literally 1 minute and 30 seconds we will know what the data is going to be here. Subscribe to the channel because tomorrow we'll do the FOMC meeting. This will be very volatile. Why? Is because tomorrow is the FOMC meeting, and the inflation will be definitely impact what the Fed is going to say tomorrow. So hopefully it's going to come in positively. We just have to wait and see here. So 1 more minute. Let's go. 1 more minute. What are the expectations for the CPI? Have been already discussing this, but the CPI projection is between 4.1 and 4.3, and to be clear, everything below 4.2% is going to be considered extremely bullish. Not just bullish, everything below 4.1% is going to be extremely bullish. Everything above 4.3%, we're probably going to see a big dump across all markets. So I'm going to be watching and monitoring it very closely right now, guys. I'm refreshing all my sources right now, so get ready. This is the last 50 seconds we have. The last 50 seconds. Okay, let's see. 1 more minute. Actually, even 30 seconds. Let me take a quick bite of my apple. We're moving up. 20 more seconds. Preparing all my stuff here. 10 more seconds to go. 5 more seconds. Volatility is picking up. 2 more seconds. Data's out. Oh, moving down, moving up. A lot of volatility, like we can see, like we've been expecting. Always like this. Trading economics is not loading. It's moving up. Oh, it's moving up. Damn, it's moving. It's moving. It's not refreshing. Come on, refresh. Oh, big. Oh my gosh, it's really moving up right now. This is beautiful to see. Refreshing my sources like always, it's usually a little bit laggy because everyone's trying to be looking at the data. Bitcoin 26.4k, it's moving up like crazy right now. Moved up already 1%. Okay, it's 4.1%. Sorry, 4%. It's 4%. This is very nice. 4%. This is beautiful. So it's below 4.1, what is considered extremely bullish. This is beautiful to see. CPI 4%, guys. You can see it also on my Twitter. It just posted on my Twitter. 4%. This is beautiful to see. Let me quickly check up the core inflation. That is also very important to see here. So quickly going to load this up. Core inflation data. Core. It's still. Oh, why is it so slow? Core inflation. Okay, so Bitcoin is moving up. Like you can see, my trade is doing quite well right now here. We're about to confirm the CME gap. So CME gap is about to get filled up here. So let's see if Bitcoin is going to do some more things here. So Bitcoin pushing back up here, 26.4k. I'm trying to refresh to know the core inflation. Okay, core inflation is 5.3%, just like we have been expecting. So the consensus was also 5.3%. It came in around 5.3%, so that's actually quite decent. But inflation hits 4%, guys. Let me quickly show you. Boom, 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 boom. 4%. This is beautiful. So let me show you guys this chart right here. Is my stream? Yeah, stream is still live and working. So you can see here, inflation data, 4% for May. The consensus was 4.1. The forecast was 4.3. So this is considered very bullish. So we are probably expecting to see more momentum towards the upside in the coming minutes and the coming hours as this data getting processed. Let me quickly check up what the Fed predictions are right now for tomorrow. Probably the predictions that the Fed is going to stop hiking the rates are increasing as inflation drops more and more. And like I've been saying, next month is going to be even more crazier. Next month we're seeing probably inflation right 3.2% if I'm looking at my forecast. Inflation sets to be dropping very quickly over the course of the summer, and that is why also if we're going to be looking at the probabilities for the rate cut, it's probably going to start at the end of this summer. Maybe at the beginning of next winter, but at least at the end of 2023, we're expecting to see the Fed release the rate hikes, and that will be very bullish because there's also a lot of pressure on the banking industry right now, so it's going to be very bullish for markets in general. So currently we can see it's an 80% chance that tomorrow we're going to see no interest rate hike at all, and that is very bullish for markets. So Bitcoin is not really moving that bigly at the moment right now. Was quite surprisingly. I was expecting it's going to be moving a little bit more. Core inflation 5.3 indeed, and regular inflation is 4% year on year. Of course, 4% is still way too high. Don't get me wrong, but it's definitely better than it was a couple weeks ago, and a couple months ago. So you can see clearly, if I'm loading up this chart right now, inflation is coming down rapidly. The top looks to be in, and as soon as inflation goes below 4% and even below 3%, we're probably going to start to see the rate cuts really happening again. So that's going to be very nice. So inflation is currently at its lowest point in 2 years' time. Inflation is at its lowest point in 2 years' time, guys. That's crazy. Let me quickly do a tweet here for all my followers on Twitter. Boom, boom, boom. And let me get back in towards the price action of Bitcoin in a second. Boom. This is pretty bullish for Bitcoin. I bet 25 basis points tomorrow, but priced in or expected. I mean, if we're looking at the forecast, it's going to be very unlikely to see an interest rate hike tomorrow. Of course, this could change overnight, but it is going to be very unlikely that we're going to see any rate hikes for the next meeting. So do count that in here. I mean, of course, if there's going to be a rate hike, it's going to be bearish, but currently there's only like a 20% chance that we're going to see it, and the chance of the rate hike is only going to decrease since the inflation is coming down so rapidly. Looking quickly at the classic markets, Bitcoin, S&P moving quite similar to each other right now here, both moving towards the upside, but not moving so quickly. S&P, of course, Nasdaq still closed, of course, taking that in account here. But the S&P also still closed in pre-market, moving up a little bit right now. XRP breaking resistance. Let me quickly check up on XRP. XRP has been doing very well recently. I've been looking at a big consolidation phase for XRP. Let me go towards my right chart, excuse me. Which chart was I using? Let me check. I think it was this one. Yeah, it was this one. So XRP is indeed moving up here. So you can see on the 1 hour is looking beautifully here. So XRP is indeed moving beautiful towards the upside right here. Moved up 5.8% on the last candle. On the weekly time frame, you can basically see that XRP is right now coming very close towards the break of this trend line right here, what is a very important trend line. So I'm going to keep my eyes wide open on this trend line right here. I'm going to keep my main focus on this level. As soon as we do break it, it's going to be extremely bullish for XRP, and I'm going to definitely benefit from it since I've been buying a lot of it in the past few weeks here. You can see on the weekly time frame that we're right now at a very crucial level, and just don't expect that this level is going to be breaking fairly easy. But of course, like we do know, the lawsuit looks to be getting settled for XRP, what is definitely a very bullish thing here. So I'm going to keep my eyes wide open on XRP right here. I'm going to continue to dollar cost average in towards it. I think it's a good asset, and I probably think it's going to perform very well, especially if the lawsuit is going to get settled for the next bull run. So yeah, I'm definitely taking in some positions right here. Bitcoin moving quite cleanly towards the upside. We can see that the CME gap almost got filled up here. Almost, but we're probably expecting to see this getting filled up in a while right here. If I'm looking at the past, basically, let's go to the 4 hour, let's go to the 1 hour time frame and open up the economic data. So what we can usually see here, what happens once the inflation data comes out here. Here we saw a big pump after the data came out, and then a big dump here. And here we saw also a big pump, then a big dump here. So there's usually a lot of volatility around the hour, and not necessarily straight away after it. So let's see how it's going to be playing out here, what we can see from the past. Here we saw, of course, a gigantic pump after the data came out here. And this was approximately, let me say this correctly, and 24 hours after the data came out, we saw a big move here. Now we, of course, got the FOMC meeting in approximately 28 hours from now on. So take that in account. But yeah, Bitcoin not really moving that big here. I was expecting to see some more volatility, but there's not really a lot happening for Bitcoin right now here. Still remain to be trading in a bearish trend here. Still remaining to be trading in this consolidation phase. And basically we're waiting to see that falling wedge to be breaking out here. Yeah, we're still trading at the same place here. There's not been a lot of volatility, but I mean, like we've seen from the past, the volatility usually also comes in the hours after the data comes out here. At least we've got some positive data. That is, of course, very bullish. And of course, still what we do know here, due to the fact that tomorrow the tomorrow the Federal Reserve meeting will be held. We probably will be waiting to see what the results of that meeting are going to be, because usually the Federal Reserve meeting does have a little bit more influence across all markets. So yeah, I'm going to be wrapping up the stream here. This is the data. This is what we do know right now here. So thank you so much for watching towards amazing new live stream. Subscribe to the channel, because in literally 27 hours, I will be jumping live again, because literally, like you can see, in 1 day and 5 hours, we will see the next meeting of the FOMC. I will be live streaming that event. I will talk about all the data. I will talk about what is happening, and I will discuss all markets, and then we also have a little bit more time to discuss more altcoins. So subscribe to the channel, press the bell notification to stay up to date about that. But anyways, this was it for me in today's update video. Thank you so much for watching towards this new live stream. Subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out. Goodbye.